What's happening, Carolina fans? Welcome to Two Fans in the Stands, a podcast related to all things Carolina Panthers and North Carolina Tar Heels. I'm your co-host Tony.
And I'm your co-host CJ.
Let's go. CJ, what's happening, cuzzo? What's going on with you?
Doing good, cuz another day closer to the regular season.
I feel you. I feel you. I can't wait for that day to come as well. Well, first, I want to start off by saying happy birthday. Happy 40th birthday. Welcome to the fourth floor. We want to welcome you to the 40 Flash and Fly Club. So come on in, join the family. Be a part of this great fraternity of men. In our elder stage in life.
Hey, I appreciate it, but don't associate my name with the word elder, okay?
Oh, my bad, my bad. No disrespect intended, no disrespect. But I'm saying, that age 36 mark, you at the top of the hill. So now you on the downside now. So you with the over the hill gang now. So I ain't too far with, you starting to join some good company. So just come on down. It's okay. It's all right.
Mhm. I'm not saying I ain't joining good company, but I don't see myself going down the hill. You know, I ain't going down the hill until I feel like saying I'm going down the hill. So I'm still going up.
Okay, tomatoes, tomatoes. Okay. Well, let's get into this 53-man roster real quick. See, the Panthers made a final cut downs to get to the 53-man roster yesterday evening. And I'm going to start off with the offensive side of the ball and with the quarterbacks. And you tell me what were your opinions. Tell me what was your thoughts on the three quarterbacks that Carolina decided to stay with?
Man, it's kind of a no brainer on this one. Baker's got the starting job. PJ's going to be number two until Sam gets healthy, when he gets his
Right.
ankle right. And yeah, that one's kind of open and shut.
Yeah.
We all thought that PJ was going to be the starter. Not PJ. I'm sorry. We thought that Baker was going to be the starter. From the get go. I kind of thought that when we traded for him. But yeah, it does look different than it did a couple episodes ago when we thought PJ Walker was kind of auditioning for other teams and kind of fell flat on his face a little bit. But it's crazy what 2 weeks will do. Now what his
When he
status
do it,
is when yeah, exactly. But what his status is once Sam Darnold gets back healthy, you know, we'll see. Do they slide him maybe to the practice squad or what? So, but it'll be interesting. But the quarterbacks, not a surprise at all for me. What about you?
uh, the quarterback position, like you stated, took an unexpected turn in the past 2 weeks. Looks like PJ Walker will be Baker's backup when the season start. I know Sam Donald is expected to be placed on the IR injury reserve and is designated to return after 4 weeks. That's the hope, right now. Depending on if there is any setbacks with Donald, I believe PJ Walker could see his time as a Panther come to an end. Now with Matt Corral on season ending IR, which is no surprise or rush to get him back this year. I don't really see Carolina staying with three quarterbacks going forward, as the season unfolds. But initially, it looks like that way because Sam Donald is on IR. So PJ
Hmm.
Walker is going to be Baker's backup for the first four, possibly 5 games. What do you see for the running backs going forward? Do you think that the three that we decide to keep were the right choices?
Yeah, I do. I'm not gonna lie. I wish they could have kept another one. I wish they could have kept John Lovett. I like what he did in the preseason, but I honestly think that Deontay Foreman is going to be the primary backup to Christian McCaffrey. Um,
Right.
I
Me
I
too.
I think yeah, I think Chuba's role is going to diminish this year a little bit because one, like we talked about before, he's kind of a if the hole is there, he'll run through it type of back.
Right.
He's not going to do too much more than that. He has hands made of concrete blocks.
Butterfingers.
He can't catch cold.
Yeah.
What do you say? He can't catch cold up in Canada nowhere. But
Exactly.
yeah,
Exactly.
um, I think we have a solid group of backs. If McCaffrey can stay healthy for the whole season, and I think the addition of Foreman will be key to that, especially like on these third down and short plays, and they don't have to try and run Christian McCaffrey again. Like I said, like he's 6'6" and 250 pounds, and it's just blowing linebackers and defensive linemen over to get first down. And that's not the case. I love the guy to death, but he gets to run up in the pile and he don't go anywhere. But
Get back here.
yeah, I for real. I mean for real. It's been plenty of times where I've seen him run up defensive lineman, grab him, by the jersey or the shoulder pad or something, and he doesn't go anywhere. You,
So
you
so
know,
you so you don't think Christian McCaffrey is as strong as he may look, huh?
I'm not gonna say that because I'm not gonna try to diminish his strength at all, but he is not that power moving type of back. You know what I mean? Now,
Yeah, I
if he
agree
runs
with
into
you.
the line and the line has the line is getting pushed and they're backing the defensive line up, then that's one thing. But
Right.
he's not that back that's gonna run in there and just you know bounce off of people or now mind you, if he gets a one-on-one with like a defensive back, maybe. But most linebackers and defensive linemen, and I want everybody to know I'm kind of isolating this to like the third and short plays because this is what I'm talking. This is
Right.
my frustration with them. You know, third down and one, and no, I'm sorry. Say it's first, second down and one. Say we got 9 yards on first down. Second down and one. They want to run him up the middle. Don't get it.
Right.
Third down and one. They want to run him up the middle. Don't get it. It's been times we've gotten fourth down. They're running the same play, and I'm just like, please stop.
But do you think that's more indicative of the type of line that he was running behind the past couple years as opposed to what would be in front of him this year? Do you think that that could be a better situation when when you're talking about second and one or third and one or even if you want to go for it on fourth and inches? Do you think the offensive line could offer him better protection and get a better push on the power going forward?
This year, yes. This year, yes. I think in the past it's been a combination of bad offensive line play and terrible play calling.
Right.
Because
Yeah,
my thing is, if you
I can definitely
give,
agree with that.
yeah, if you give the defense, it's almost like sharks when you smelling blood and when they smelling blood in the water. They get that first little scent, and sometimes that's a
Yeah,
wrap. They get in
all
there,
over.
yeah, get in, get pressure, get in, get in between the offensive linemen, stop the running back. They hyped up. And then, it's like sometimes the Panthers will turn around and run the exact same play. And it's like they're almost like, no, we're going to make this work. And, I'm sitting here as a fan, like, please stop. Like, just please, just stop. You know? But
No, I feel
yeah,
you.
because my thing is sometimes I wish they would get a little more creative, you know, because and now I think we got another back to do that. It's third down and one. even if you put in, you run your two tight end package, you got Foreman back there, but just say you got uh two wide outs, tight end, and say you throw McCaffrey in the slot and have Foreman in the backfield. Give them something else to think about. You
Yeah,
know what I mean? Because I just feel like they already, and he's our feature back. You know what I mean? And lifespans of running backs in the league are getting shorter and shorter, and I think they need to do everything they can to prolong his career.
I agree. I agree with
Yeah.
that assessment. Yeah,
But overall, I think we're going to have a solid backfield this year.
yeah,
And I think our offensive line play will be better, so that should help.
yeah, definitely. Well, like you said, the running back room to me is no surprise here. Christian McCaffrey is the incumbent starter here, and with Deontay and Chuba splitting backup duties, I believe Deontay will take over the backup role from from Chuba, for the simple fact that Chuba isn't a reliable option in the passing game, coming out of the backfield. I do believe that he can play a more prominent role on special teams going forward, because that's typically what happens when you are the third team or fourth team running back. Typically to stay on the roster, they typically find some type of role for you on special teams, and I think we got a little snippet of that during the preseason when he was returning kickoff returns. I believe it was in the first game. I don't remember if he
Hmm.
returned them against New England or Buffalo, but I do believe he did return a kickoff or two, you know, in the Washington game.
I
But
hope you learn how to tackle though, because depending on what Andre Roberts do, he may
right.
or may not get too many opportunities. So,
Yeah, and seeing that's what makes the whole situation suspect for him, because if you're not the dominant number two running back behind Christian McCaffrey, and you definitely are not the bell cow type of running back that Deontay Foreman is, you're kind of hard pressed to find what your niche is in between,
hmm
especially with your hands being as suspect as they are. So I'm I'm
hold on.
I definitely want
I
to
don't mean
see.
to. I don't mean to interrupt you, but it's nothing suspect about his hands. Them jokers have been tried, convicted, and sentenced. They are terrible. There's
they
nothing
they
suspect.
they doing life, huh?
Life without parole.
Wow. Well, in that case, what? So if that's the case, what need do we have for him? Because there's some running backs that were just released from other
Hmm.
teams that I could see them stepping in and taking Chuba Hubbard's position. One name I'm gonna throw out there was Philip Lindsay, got released by the Indianapolis Colts. Now
Mm.
he's not as big as quote unquote back as Chuba Hubbard is, but he could definitely catch the ball, and I believe he runs a little harder than Chuba Hubbard. So, that can be a space to watch out for, going forward, in the next couple of days. Because I don't
Yeah.
think anything is set in stone when it comes to Chuba Hubbard,
Yeah,
so
but it's probably more so of a pride thing with him too. They're like, yeah, we took him, and he was a high pick, and we're gonna keep him, and we're gonna make it work. And I don't have that big of an issue with Chuba Hubbard. I don't think he is a bad back, but he has to, he has to get better at when he's open and the play is open, the yardage is in front of him, it's there for the taking. He's got to quit dropping passes.
yeah. But remember, I told you a while back, I said in the draft that year, I would have liked to have taken Khalil Herbert over Chuba Hubbard, for the simple fact Chuba was he didn't prove or didn't even show it on tape that he was capable of breaking tackles. Every run that you saw that Chuba made, the holes were wide open for him, and it's
Mhm.
it's easy for anybody to hit a hole at full speed when it's wide open for you. And
Yeah.
catching the football was not something that they asked him to do at Oklahoma State. So I was wondering how his skill set was going to translate into the NFL when you're not going to have that type of line to run. You're not going to have that type of line to run through on a weekly
Mhm.
basis, and you're not going to face defenses in the NFL like you faced in the Big 12. You're not just going to
Yeah.
be able to just run past everybody. So I was curious to see how he was going to fare. Now he did get a little tougher, as the season went
Mhm.
on. Um, he did show his value that way. But again,
Mhm.
in today's league, if you're not able to catch the ball, if you're not able to be more than just a one-dimensional back, then
Yep.
your time in the league or with the team can be very short lived because there are other options that can do what it seems that you can't.
Mhm.
So,
Exactly.
again, like I said, I wish the best for him, and I hope he does what needs to be done to
Same
correct his
here.
mistakes. But from what I've seen so far, and it's only by what you put on tape, it ain't looking
Yep.
good for the homie. So
What
let's
Steve
go.
Smith say? Well, hold on. What did Steve Smith say?
What's
He
that?
said, and we all know Christian McCaffrey would have caught that ball.
Exactly, exactly. So let's move on to the tight ends. What would you think about the tight ends room?
um, Tommy Tremble, solid. Ian Thomas, solid. Stephen Sullivan or Stephen Sullivan. I'm interested to see what his role
Suspect.
is going to be. I don't know.
No, 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 no,
I
no.
don't know.
I don't mean to interrupt you, but that
Yes,
he's
you do.
suspect. Yeah, he's suspect. Ain't no ifs, ands, or but about it. The brother is
Hmm.
suspect. Carry on, carry on.
Well, hey, you know. But there was we had a rookie from Idaho State that I was interested to see how he was gonna pan out, but he didn't really pan out at all.
You talking
So
about Josh Babbitts?
I think so.
He's from North Dakota State. He went
North
to North
Dakota State,
Dakota.
yeah.
Yeah, he went to North Dakota
He
State.
seemed like an interesting prospect, but he didn't really pan out at all. But now Tommy Tremble, um, great blocking tight end. We seen last year. He can take the handoff, run for a touchdown, and I think you know I think they should kind of ease him into it. And I know he's played all last year, but the question is, can he be every down tight end? Can we throw him the ball and he make that tough catch? And so it should be interesting because Ian Thomas, he's solid. I'll give him that, but it seems like he shows up and then he disappears, and he disappears for a long time, and then he'll
Don't
show
forget
up.
about don't forget about Giovanni Ricci.
Well, yeah, no, I'm getting him, but technically he's the fullback, technically,
Yeah,
but
yeah, fullback
he's
slash H back. Yeah.
Mhm. Yeah, he's another tight end, but I'm getting him. But yeah, but Ian Thomas, is he shows up and then he disappears. Steven Sullivan, I'm still interested to see what he's going to do. I don't think he's going to have too big of a role, but there's always, knock on wood, the chance of injuries. So we'll see. But to be honest with you, I think Giovanni Ricci could be the best out of the bunch, as far as blocking and just hands. I mean
Better
he
than
has hands.
Trimble?
He huh?
Better than Tommy Trimble?
Well, I
I
ain't gonna
don't
say
know.
better than Tom.
I
Well,
don't know.
I don't
Well,
know.
you said
It,
best out
it
of the bunch. Tommy Trim was
I
in
said
that bunch.
I said he could be. He could be.
I'm
It's
just saying.
still you know.
I'm just saying. I don't think he'd be better than Tommy Trumbull though. But go ahead.
Well,
I
I
digress.
mean, it's not like Tommy Tremble came out last year and caught 70 balls for 800-900 yards. You
No,
know what I
I mean,
mean?
but also that's not what Tommy Tremble was brought in for. Tommy Tremble was a blocking tight end, H back
Mm-hmm.
slash tight end, when he played at Notre Dame.
Mm-hmm.
They basically served the same roles. I just think Giovanni Ricci stuck on because of his special team prowess. That's my take on it.
Yeah, but he's got really good hands though. He can really catch.
I mean,
Hey, well, we'll see. We'll see going forward. You know, I like Tommy Tremble and I like Giovanni Ricci. I like Ian Thomas too, but like I said, he just he's here in spurts. To me, he'll make a couple plays one game, and then you might not hear nothing from him for 3 or 4 weeks.
Yeah, but I think a lot of that had to do with the play calling the past couple years. Because if anybody really paid attention to Joe Brady's offense, it was similar to what he had at LSU. And at LSU, he didn't really include the tight ends in the offense because it was all about
You
the
sure?
wide receivers and the running back. No, he didn't. He
You don't
had
remember Shad Moss?
Thaddeus Moss. Yeah, he had Thaddeus Moss. But
Mm-hmm.
again, he did Thaddeus Moss was not a prominent tight end select, receiver for LSU. Like
You sure about that?
I'm positive that Thaddeus Moss is not like he was getting the ball 4 or 5 times a game. Cause now, if that's the case, look at Thad Moss since he's been in the pros. Thaddeus Moss has been right now. He just got cut from like his 15.
Mm-hmm.
His 15 in like 3 years. The tight end position was not as prominent in at LSU, and Joe Brady didn't showcase the tight ends in the offense when he came to Carolina last year.
I'll agree with you on the latter part of that, but do you remember Thaddeus Moss in that season that they won the national title? I
Yes,
don't know
I
what you
do.
consider prominent, but
Meaning
he
meaning being
go ahead.
consistent, showing. I mean, being a
Mm-hmm.
consistent part of the offense throughout the year, not just that one game
Mm-hmm.
where he in the playoffs. I think he scored like
I
twice in the
I I
game and had like
I
six or seven
understand that.
catches.
I watched LSU throughout the whole season. Now mind you, he was surrounded with you had Terrace Marshall, Jamar Chase, Justin Jefferson, Clyde
Hmm.
Edwards-Helaire, Joe Burrow. But
Right?
he got his reps in. He was a part of that offense.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Eh, if you say
He
so,
I
I'm just
say so.
saying. All I'm saying is that when Joe Brady was there last year, the tight ends was a, not
Mm,
really part of the offense as being playmakers. It was more or
yeah.
less looking at, you was a blocking tight end. And occasionally, every blue moon, you got a ball thrown your way. Because at the times
Mm-hmm.
when they did target Ian Thomas, he came away with some big catches last year. And it made you
He
think,
did.
why haven't we been throwing him the ball more often? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
If he could
Now I agree with that.
if he could have stayed healthy this preseason, them same balls that you saw Giovanni Ricci catching during the preseason, Ian Thomas could have been catching through the preseason. But
Mm-hmm.
he was injured most of training camp, trying to get him healthy. You didn't want to run the risk of Tommy Tremble something happening to him, so therefore you
Mm-hmm.
didn't play a lot. So you throw Giovanni Ricci out there because Steven Sullivan was out and Colin Thompson was out. So Giovanni
Mm-hmm.
got a lot of the reps. And I'm not saying that
Hold
he
on,
didn't.
hold on, hold on, hold on, hold on. Last episode, what did you say? Your best ability is what?
Your availability. Yeah.
Availability. Okay,
Yeah.
go ahead,
Yeah.
continue.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. He. I'm not taking anything away from him. He took full advantage of the reps that he got, just like Shy
Mm-hmm.
Smith took advantage of the reps that he got. Because before C.J. Saunders went down, he was ahead of Shy Smith on the depth chart. But when he
Mm-hmm.
went down, Terrence Marshall Jr. couldn't stay healthy. Robert Anderson in and out. Shy Smith stayed up, stepped up, stayed healthy, and took advantage of his reps. Now, I'm not going to say that Giovanni has all of a sudden just turned into this tremendous, pass catching tight end. All I'm saying is he
Mm-hmm.
took advantage of the reps that was presented to him, and he showed that he was a little bit more valuable to the team. But is he more valuable than Ian Thomas and Tommy Tremble going forward? I don't believe so. That's just
Yeah.
that's just
But
my
but what I'm
my,
but what
my
I'm trying
opinion.
to say is, don't don't just knock out the possibility that he might shine this year. You never know. That's all I'm saying. From what I've seen from him in preseason so far, he's hey, I think he fullback. I think he has good hands. And I think it's situation where if one of these other not running, but other these fullbacks, dang, I'm sorry, tight ends, you know, uh, mess up and show that they're not reliable or they're not stepping up. He can step in. So
But
that's all I'm saying. You never know.
and
And
I
I
I
will say
get
you were right about Joe Brady's offense last year. Now I think LSU Joe Brady and Carolina Panthers Joe Brady were two different Joe Bradys. And the crazy
exactly.
thing is he's in Buffalo now. So I'm just
Yeah.
like,
Yeah, he's the quarterback. He the quarterback's coach in Buffalo.
mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah. But now, if you remember, I'm not going to spend too much more time on these tight ends, but you remember Giovanni Ricci came to Carolina as a tight end and he
Mm-hmm.
didn't cut it. So they tried to create a role for him and switch him to fullback because
Mm-hmm.
after Carolina got rid of Armor, we didn't have a fullback on the roster. And then when
Yeah.
we cut your boy that went to Oregon, that's in Houston right now. Royce Freeman.
Oh
When we
yeah,
cut
yeah, yeah.
Royce Freeman, even though he wasn't a fullback, he was a big back. After we cut
Mm-hmm.
Royce Freeman, we didn't have anyone to play that fullback, big body role. So Giovanni stepped in because they wanted to create they saw that he could be valuable in some ways to the team, so they try to create a role for him. So they moved him to fullback because technically he is not a traditional fullback. He's still, in my opinion, working on his blocking techniques from that position because it's not like he's the best blocker, even though he is 6'3", 6'4", 240 pounds. But that's not something that he has played all his life. He's been primarily a big receiver when he was coming out of high school, moved
Mm-hmm.
to tight end in college, and now in the pros. So, but like I said, like you were saying, I hope that the preseason showed glimpses of where he can be on a consistent basis, and I just hope that um the Panthers, with Ben McAdoo calling the plays this year, is going to utilize and maximize his potential.
Agree.
Yeah. All right, so let's move on to these wide receivers. Look like we kept seven wide receivers. What were your thoughts on the new look wide receiver room?
Well, it's interesting. They brought in LaVisca Chenault from Jacksonville. From what I've seen of him, I think he might be a, you know, kind of like a Debo Samuel-esque player. Can get the ball out the backfield, run it. Tough, hard to bring down. Got decent hands, can catch. So we'll see. I think that's going to be I think he's going to be a good addition to the wide receiver room
Right.
if they use him properly. maybe he can kind of be like Curtis Samuel was to us a few years ago. How they use
Mm.
him out of the backfield.
Yeah, I didn't think
Um,
about that.
yeah,
Third down
gadget
receiver.
plays. Yeah, third down.
Yeah,
Yeah, exactly. So maybe that's the type of role that he'll fit into in this offense. Um, Staples, DJ Moore, Robbie Anderson. You got Terrace Marshall. They kept Andre Roberts, and they cut Brandon Zylstra, you know. And
yeah,
I kind of figured once they traded for Chenault that him or Roberts were probably going to get cut,
yeah. Okay.
you know.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
no major surprises for me there except for Zylstra, and not really a surprise. But once they traded for Chenault, I figured he might get the boot.
Right. Yeah, it was no real surprises for me here neither. Like like you said, I do like the addition of Laviska Chenault to the room. He brings that Debo Samuel 2.0 feel to me, and a bigger body
Hmm.
in the slot to take on linebackers and safeties. I was very happy for my boy Shy Smith. You know how I feel about Shy Smith to
Oh yeah.
showcase his skills and make the team. Andre Roberts is a Pro Bowl returner, so him making the
Hmm.
roster was a no brainer.
Yeah.
Now watch this space. Robert Anderson does count 20 million plus against the cap next year. So watch that space. He might be on the move sooner than later, you know. And with Brandon Zylstra, the loss of him that could sting a little bit. That can sting. So I'm curious to see what's going to happen with that moving forward. Maybe, maybe that the Panthers, make some other moves to create a space to bring him back on. So we'll see.
Yeah.
What you think about the offensive lineman?
From what I've seen in preseason, I think they made the right calls. I was shocked to see that they actually traded Dennis Daly to the Titans for they sent
Why?
him in a seventh round pick to for a fifth round pick.
Why were
Why? No,
you shocked?
I'm just shocked that they actually did it. I
Oh,
like I
me.
like the
Okay.
I like the move. Yeah,
Okay. Okay.
I'm all
Okay.
for it. I was just shocked that they actually did it and somebody actually took him. I don't know who he know over there, but sometimes they say it ain't about what you know and what you can do, but it's about who you know.
Hmm.
Maybe he got the inside track of in Nashville somewhere, so we'll see.
Yeah.
But yeah, I was um I liked that move. When I saw it, I was like, oh, okay. I was like, cool. And then I kept seeing everybody saying, well, now next I need to get rid of Cam Irvin, blah blah blah. And I'm like, yeah, Cam Irvin is not the best, but you gotta have depth. You know, if he can if his opportunities in the game are limited to, you know, somebody has equipment issues or you get what I'm saying. One of the linemen got to go to the bathroom or something, got to miss a play.
Yeah.
Just some stuff like that. If he could be limited to those type of situations, he'll be fine. If it gets to the point somebody gets hurt and he has to start, then we're in trouble. You know,
Exactly.
but
Yeah.
he can be a solid backup. I think our left side with Icky and Brady Christensen will be solid. Icky may struggle just a little bit, at first, but I think once he gets his form and technique down, he's going to be solid because the power is there. That's
Right.
one thing you can't deny. That brother is strong. He
Yeah.
is strong. I seen him going up against Shaq Lawson, and they played a clip of Taylor Moton on one side and him on the other, and they showed their hands, and how the defensive linemen were trying to chop their hands, and they were like, okay, well, you trying to chop this one? Well, let me put this big claw over here on you and keep you at bay.
Right.
So the power is there. Um, Brady Christensen, I think that he is going to to fill in that role at left guard very nicely. You know, I it kind of baffles me, why they didn't go ahead and put him there last year, and because it was like, oh, is he a tackle? Is he a guard? But I hope they found this spot, and he seems to be doing well so far. Um, and I gotta apologize because I keep calling Bradley Bozeman Brady Bozeman for whatever reason, and I think it's because I keep talking about him after talking about Brady Christensen. But I think he's gonna come back, and I think he'll solidify the center position for us because as
Yeah,
we always
exactly.
say, Pat Eiflin is a little too light, to be going up against some of those bigger defensive linemen,
He don't weigh
in
enough.
our in
He
especially
don't
in our
weigh enough.
division. What you say?
I say he don't weigh enough. Too light in the
Yeah,
ass to be too light in the
e-
ass.
e- exactly. Right side of the line, Austin Corbett and Taylor Moton. I mean, that may be a strength for us this year, like a legit strength for us. But I think it's more important what happens on the left side. If they can hold up. I was telling somebody yesterday, we don't need the Panthers offensive line to be, the best in the league. Now, mind you, if they are, that's great. I would want them to be, but they just need to be solid. Like I said a few episodes ago, they need to get off the bottom of the barrel and stop hanging out down there.
Right.
At least try and get to the top of the barrel. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
No, no, I feel
They
you.
they just they just need to be solid, and not only solid for, say, what, the first quarter and a half, and then you put up 14 points, 21 points, and then you disappear for the rest of the game, because that's basically what they did last year. The
Yeah.
offensive line, they would block enough, get out, we get out to a 14-point lead or so, and then come out halftime and they forget how to play.
It's like
you
we
know
we we did good in the run blocking. It's the pass blocking that killed us last year. Like every
Yeah.
time the quarterback, every time Sam Darnold was dropping back to pass, he was either getting sacked or was feeling a lot of pressure, you know.
Mhm.
And you can't operate as offense or move the ball forward when that is happening on a consistent basis.
Yeah. Yep, you are absolutely right. And then, and we got your boy Cade Mays as well. And I think he's been okay this preseason, and he has that added ability. He can play damn near every position on the offensive line. So we'll definitely see how that goes. Um Michael Jordan, I hope he doesn't, I pray that everybody stays healthy and he doesn't really get an opportunity to get to get in there too much. You know,
Lord have
him
mercy.
and I can deal with Pat Eiflin. He's like you say, he's a little light in the ass, but he's serviceable. But Cameron Irvin and Michael Jordan, I pray that they're just depth pieces, and
Yeah.
they may have to spell some guys for a few plays this season, and I pray to the good Lord above that that's it. I pray that they don't have to get in there and play entire games at a time. If they got to play a series or something, so be it. But yeah,
Well, we
you know
definitely
I
call out the prayer warriors on that one.
man, definitely, and I think, you know this year it may be set, but you never know. Federer may still try and do something, but I think Irvin and Jordan should be kept on a on a short string. It's kind of one of them, like, all right, now you mess up, you got you out.
Right, right. Well, there's a
Yeah.
couple of surprises here for me. First, I don't like that we kept Cam Irvin and Michael Jordan, but cut Deontay Brown. Now, I know what you're gonna say. You already know I'm a Deontay Brown fan. I know
Mm-hmm.
he was a project and doesn't offer the same versatility on the line like Cam Irvin, but neither does Michael Jordan. And to me, just my personal feelings, if I wanted a serviceable guard, I would I would take Deontay Brown over Michael Jordan. The reason why I say that because you've already seen what Michael Jordan gives you as a not only as a run blocker but also as a pass protector. He's decent when it came to run blocking, but his pass protection is just as horrible as Dennis Daly was, you know. So I mean, I understand they want Deontay Brown to get his weight down. He got his weight down. I think he was like 335. From 365 to 335, that's a drastic change. Now, his body may not look, the way that you want it to look, but are we more concerned with how a player look or how a player performs? Because the last time I checked, besides one or two hiccups, in the preseason when he did allow pressure. But since he has been with the Panthers, he has not given up a sack when he's been in the game. I can't say that about Michael Jordan, and we damn sure can't say that about Cam Irving. Now, that's my spiel on him. I'm gonna leave it alone because what's done is done. But I do believe that Deontay, if he don't come back to the practice squad, I believe he has the potential to be picked up on the waiver wire. And I wouldn't be surprised if Brian Dayball for the Giants pick him up because Deontay Brown played for Brian Dayball when he was offensive coordinator at Alabama. Not only did Deontay Brown play for him, but Alex Leatherwood, who was just released by the Raiders, first round draft pick last year, may add. But he was also released by the Raiders. He could be a potential pickup for the Giants going forward. But
Hmm.
overall, I'm happy with the potential starting five, and I look forward to the remaining. For I look forward to them remaining healthy and gelling as a unit. So now we
Yeah.
flip it to the other side on the defense. What you think about the defensive lineman?
Let me tell you, I was happy when you sent me the text and said that our boy Big Snack McCall made
Talk
it,
about it. Say it
as
with
you
your
have
chest.
dubbed him.
Say it with your chest.
You know, I hope somebody listening.
Next,
Look, I hope somebody listening can get this to him and see how he think about
my
our
man,
name for him, Big Snack
my
McCall.
man, Snap. Well, I think that's his nickname. That's what they called him when he was at Kentucky. I don't. That's not a
Oh, okay,
nickname
I
that
didn't
I
know
came
that.
up with. Yeah, I heard that, and I was like,
Oh, okay,
yeah, that's fitting. Cause big dude. So they
yeah.
call him Snacks. Yeah,
Hmm.
yeah,
Yeah, but I think I think he would be a good reserve piece for us, especially over who got who didn't make it. Oh, did Phil Hoskins make it? Oh, he got
yeah.
cut.
Phil Hoskins made it. Frank Herring didn't make it.
Frank Heron, that's the one. Yes,
Yeah,
because McCall showed he showed a lot this preseason. Now mind you, he was going against the twos and threes, but it's all about making plays when you have the opportunity to go out there and do it.
that's
And
right.
when
That's
he when
right.
he was in the game, he was making plays and he was a force. You know, so I'm happy he made it. Um, we got Davion Nixon, Bravion Roy. I think
Yeah,
the three of them will be good backups, solid depth for the defensive line. Derek Brown, Matt Ioannidis. I hope that what we saw, from the two of them against Buffalo will translate into the regular season.
you talking about
And I know they
Debo
were,
and dump truck?
yeah, no, yeah, Debo and dump truck. Yeah, there you go. But yeah, given they were playing against the seconds for Buffalo, I hope that will translate, to the regular season because Derek Brown looked like he was on a mission, that game. He wasn't
Yes, he
in there
did.
long, but he looked like he was out to say, you know what? Here I am. Y'all been waiting to see the Derek Brown from Auburn. Well, here he is, you
Yeah,
know. And
yeah.
I hope that
So
carries on to week one and beyond. But I think, hopefully we can get back to the the Star Tulane and K1 Short Days. That was a lovely combination. If one of them can garner a double team on most plays and
Right.
let the other one be able to get through, or open up holes for the linebackers to come in, get sacks,
Right.
coverage sacks, blitzes, whatever. You know, I think that's going to be a nice, 1-2 punch. Our defensive ends, you got Brian Burns, Yatir Gross Matos, Marquise Haynes Sr., and Amari Barno. There's a lot of potential there. You know,
Right.
I think Gross Matos is. I think he's going to shine this year.
Yeah,
I
this
really
this is
do.
a pivotal year for him too.
Yeah, because now we had Reddick last year, and Reddick got off the line. He was quick. He got sacks. But with Gross Matos, like we always say, you got somebody on the end of the line who's not going to get, but hopefully not going to get pushed out of the way every time there's a running play, and they can
Right.
keep and hold that edge and just not get tossed to the side. You know what I mean? Because
Yeah.
last year we had it was Burns and Reddick. And Burns has gotten, he's put on weight over the years since he's been drafted, but it was not a lot of, hey, we're going to set the edge out here and you're not going to run on us. It was a lot of teams, they toss it around the edge, and next thing you know, we're watching the running back run down the field.
Right. I think Brian
You
Burns
know,
put on like 10 pounds this off season. I think he came
oh,
into camp around like 260.
yeah. But if they can, if hopefully the pressure ramps up this year from the offensive line. They need to get more pressure, and at the same time, they need to be better in run defense. If they can work on that and get better at that this year, I think this group can do work. I think they can put in work. Amari Barno, he's going to get in the game. You know what I
Right.
mean? He's got work to do. He's got a lot of work to do. But one thing that he has, he's got the speed. So
Right.
we'll see how that translates. But as a whole, I like our defensive line. I really do. And
Okay.
I think if Davion Nixon can stay healthy, the whole season, maybe we'll get to see flashes of him, when he came out of Iowa, because he
Right.
he was a force. And if I'm mistaken, wasn't he
Yeah.
the Big Ten
Big
Defensive
12.
Player of the Year?
Big 12 defensive player of the year.
I'm
Yeah.
sorry, Big 12. My bad.
Yeah.
But yeah, if he can stay healthy and get back to that form, we might have something. So,
Yeah.
but yeah,
Yeah.
but
My
solid group overall, and I am glad that my man did get cut, a hair on, because
Heron.
he
Yeah.
he yeah, he did nothing for me, like
Right.
absolutely nothing.
Yeah. Well, like I said, my happy surprise was seeing Marquand McCall snacks make the team. He showed consistent pressure and mobility in the middle, for a man his size. I was surprised that we kept Phil Hoskins. Honestly, I didn't expect uh for us to keep 9 defensive linemen, especially 6 defensive tackles. I think that could be a fluid situation in the next coming days, where I think Carolina may find a better option on the waiver wire, and you just might find Phil Hoskins, you know, on his way out. But I was glad that Marquand McCall did make the team, and keep an eye out on the waiver wire too for Danny Shelton. Remember, Carolina had him in for a visit right before
Hmm.
the preseason started, and then they didn't sign him, and he went to Kansas City and signed with Kansas City. Well, they just released him, so he's on the waiver wire right now. And since
Okay.
we do have, uh, we do have because we had the 6th pick in the draft, we're the number six pick when it comes to waiver wire
Mm-hmm.
transactions because is the waiver wire basically goes off of what your draft position was in
Mm-hmm.
the NFL draft. So that can be an option. I do remember Matt Rule was saying that they wanted some bigger bodies up front. So I mean, hey, Danny Shelton's a big boy. He's not
Yeah.
gonna be a starter, but he can be a good rotational player. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. This is true. Fitterer has showed that he really does want to be in on every deal. So
Yeah.
I think he's going to do everything in his power to make our offense and defense better. And sometimes it's tough because you get people that's been on this team for a few years and they get let go and you're like, oh man. But then you sit and think about it and you're like, well, you know what? What did they really do while they were here? And I think as Panther fans, we've got kind of conditioned to, liking people because they keep them around.
Right.
You,
Right.
you know what I mean? And sometimes when they let people go and you hear all the, not here, but you read all the comments and it's like, oh no, they should have kept them. Why did they keep them? And then, like I said, when you think about it, like, yeah, like they never gave us anything to want to keep them
Right.
here for.
Right. They
So,
did. They didn't offer
I like
anything.
the
They
way they're
didn't get
going with it.
better.
Exactly.
Right. So, what did you think about the linebackers?
Linebackers, I think, are going to be a really solid group led by Shaq Thompson, Damian Wilson, and and my favorite out the bunch, Frankie Louvu, um, Corey Littleton and Brandon Smith.
Right.
Brandon Smith, like we've been saying, if he can get his tackling in order and quit trying to arm tackle everybody, and go out there and tackle somebody. I think he could surprise us. Now he's probably not going to be on the field as much this year in his rookie year, but like I always say, you never know. Injuries can happen, and he may get thrust out there into some type of role. But I'm still my thoughts on Damian Wilson are still kind of up in the air. You know,
Right.
saw a little bit of him in preseason play, but I'm ready to see him in a full game situation and see what he can do. Um, Same with Corey Littleton, but we know what we got in Shaq Thompson. We know what we got in Frankie Louvu. So
Right.
how these other pieces fit in is going to be interesting to see.
Right. Well, there's no surprise here for me as well. Frankie Louvu has definitely earned the expanded role he's going to see this year. I'm happy for him. I'm glad that he has gotten the opportunity um, to succeed and to be more accountable to the defense and also to the linebacker room. I hope he stays healthy and take full advantage of his new position with the team. Brandon Smith, he's going to get some playing time, but he's also a project at the same time. With Damian Wilson, I just hope that the off-season arrest doesn't affect him when it comes to the regular season. So I'm
Yeah.
I'm I'm going to assume that Carolina has done their due diligence when it comes to investigating that situation and
Hmm.
by him being on the roster, I'm under the assumption that there's there's really not much to worry about with that situation going forward. But I do want to see
Yeah.
him in some regular season game action and see how well he managed the middle for us. So what about the
Oh yeah.
defensive backs? Well, what you got with that?
Now this one, not really surprising, but
What?
I was kind of shocked. What?
No, you talking about no, ain't you said there wasn't really no surprises. I'm like, what? But go ahead. I'm just being silly.
Oh,
But I'm being
gotcha,
for
gotcha,
real.
gotcha.
But I'm being
Yeah.
silly.
No, I was going to say I was surprised when I saw Kalen Barnes. He got waived, but I think he'll probably more than likely end up on the practice squad. But it's an interesting group. J.C. Horn, Dante Jackson, be our starters. C.J. Henderson, you got Keith Taylor, Stanley Thomas Oliver the third. You know, I I'm hoping that his main contributions are going to stay to special teams.
That's Matt Rule
And I
boy. Matt
yeah,
Rule. Matt Rule co-signed. He signed for him. Co-signed for him before the roster changes or anything. Like
hmm
he was like, I gotta have Stanley Thomas Oliver on the team. So
yeah. Now, mind you, I think he's a great special teams guy, but he hasn't shown me a whole a whole lot as far as being the cornerback that I particularly like. You know, so we'll see. But safeties, Jeremy Chin, Xavier Woods. I'm really excited to see what that duo is going to do.
yeah, me
Um,
too.
you know, now Jeremy Chin, I'm pretty sure he's going to be down in the box a lot, and
Right.
especially on third down plays because he's a grown man. He's all over the field. He's you know, he's in the right place at the right time.
Yeah.
He gets turnovers, but he's a very good tackler. And I just because I think they tried to use him a little too much in too many places last year, and call it call it a season where they were experimenting with him. But now they're gonna put him back at safety and let him do what he do.
I think
Xavier Wood, go ahead.
no, I was just saying I just think with Jeremy Chin, they need to go back and they need to go back to his rookie year and play him like they played him that rookie year. To me, Jeremy Chin is like a Cam Chancellor 2.0. He's a
Yeah.
hybrid safety slash linebacker. Like he doesn't have the quick twitch or the reaction times to be a safety. He's not big enough to be a true linebacker, but he can play that hybrid role. You know what I'm saying?
hmm
So I think closer to the box, like you said, that's where he's gonna shine at.
Yeah. Yeah. I agree with you. But Xavier Woods, I'm happy that he's here. I'm really happy that he's here because I think like we were saying, especially like in the Minnesota game last year, when we had Justin Burris and who was it Miles Hartsfield? Back there playing that single high safety,
No,
and
that was
that was
Sean Chandler. You always seen Sean
Sean
Chandler back there
Chandler.
playing. Yeah, yeah,
Well, he's still around too, but
yeah, yeah.
but
Yeah. Try not to get
but
upset. Try not to get upset. Trying to stay positive. Woosah. Let me have my moment. Woosah. Go ahead, continue.
but yes, I think he's a big improvement at that position, especially in those situations, because that really hurt us quite a few times last year. Um, Miles Hartfield, Sam Franklin, Sean Chandler made the squad. They got rid of your boy that you don't particularly like, Justin Burris. So I know you're happy with that, and I
Yes, I
don't
am.
mind that either.
Yes, I
But
am.
what I can't lie, what really shocked me though was Kalen Barnes and Kenny Robinson.
Kenny
I was
Robinson.
really I was really hoping Kenny Robinson would stick around. I call me what you want, but I've always liked Kenny Robinson. And he's one of those players that I think he just needs you know more of a shot, more opportunity, more playing time. But I'm not the Panthers, and I don't get paid the big bucks to make these decisions. So here we are. But again, I say the same thing with the offensive line that I'll say for the defensive backs. Health is going to be a key factor, if everybody can stay healthy and our depth comes in, situationally
Right.
as needed, I think we'll be okay. But if we get
Right.
into a spot where some of these guys have to be in for an extended amount of time,
Oh
we
Lord.
may be in a little trouble. Hopefully not much, but it's
A little trouble. No, no. Just go ahead and call it for what it is. Go ahead. We go ahead and call it for what it is.
it depends on the situation and what happens. If somebody's out for a game and somebody gets hurt for half the season, yeah, we in big stink.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly.
And I
So,
think that more so for the safety position, because I think we got capable backups at the corner, but not past Keith Taylor. If one of our starting cornerbacks get hurt, I think we'll be able to manage. Knock on wood. Hopefully that doesn't happen. But
right.
safety wise, if something happens to Jeremy Chin and Xavier Woods, it's going to be a rough one.
Yeah, there was definitely some surprises here for me. Like I said, no, I know Sam Franklin and Sean Chandler bring value as special teamers. I just hope we don't need them play safety at any time because they are not good at it. Period. Full stop. I didn't agree with cutting Kenny Robinson, but I
Tell,
understand why they
tell them
did
how
it.
you really feel.
Yeah.
They're not
I
good
mean,
at it. Period.
they're just not good at it. They not. And the proof is in the pudding. It's not me speculating. I'm telling you what they put on tape. So I'm going by what
Yeah.
they did on tape, what we saw. The
Hmm.
evidence is clear, Your Honor. The evidence is clear.
Yeah. I was trying to be nice about it, but yeah, go ahead.
Yeah.
I agree with
Yeah.
everything you say.
Yeah. Don't do it. Don't do it. Don't save nobody that don't want to be saved. But I didn't agree with them cutting Kenny Robertson, but like I said, I understand why they did it. There is a standard that the team holds for themselves when it comes to fighting and sportsmanship, and he crossed that line for the Panthers. And I believe him being cut is solely based on what happened in New England. Not only did you get kicked out one day for fighting, but then you got kicked out the next day for fighting, and then for throwing what they say was a cheap shot on the New England Patriots player. I can't remember his name, but then not only did you
Mm,
basically lay him out, but then you stood over him. You know what I'm saying? Like you can't do that. That's not good sportsmanship. And to me, I know a lot of that happens throughout the league, but I'm also a believer that if you're a coach, if you don't show your team that you stand for what you say that you stand for, people are going to take you as not they're not going to take you serious, and that they're not going to believe that you stand for what you say you stand for. So he made an example out of Kenny Robinson, I believe, going forward. Here's a guy that is talented enough to make our team, talented enough to be a backup safety, and he did contribute, on special teams. But because you had this hiccup not only once but twice, so now what is your value to the team going forward? His value wasn't high enough to the point to where we can use you as an example and get rid of you. And I think
yeah.
um that's what they did there. Now, I would have loved to see my guy Tay Hayes make the team. Now, you know how I feel about Tay Hayes,
Hmm.
underdog, undersized, but he came in and he balled. I believe he
Hmm.
outplayed Keith Taylor and Stanley Thomas Oliver, in my opinion. But
Yeah.
I also believe some more moves can be made here going forward. Uh, as far as the safety position, um, I like it. I like Jeremy Chin, Xavier Woods, and don't forget Miles Hartfield is a safety. He played
Hmm.
safety at Ole Miss in college. So if something was to happen to Jeremy Chin or Xavier Woods, I believe Miles Hartsfield can slide into one of those safety positions. And then there's other corners that you have that can slide into the nickel corner position, that
Yeah.
Miles Hartsfield played primarily last year. So with him being on the team, and you got Xavier Woods and Jeremy Chin. So now you have three chess pieces that you can use back
Mhm.
there at the safety position. So I don't think we're in such a dire need that we would have to count on Sam Franklin and Sean Chandler stepping in, because we already
Yeah.
know when they do step in,
That's a wrap.
yeah, it's pretty much it's a wrap.
Yeah.
It's a
But
wrap.
but you don't think they're gonna use CJ Henderson as our primary slot corner this year?
He could he could depending on the type of teams that we play. Like when we play Cincinnati, you're going to need your top three corners, because you're going to have to guard Jamar Chase, Tyler Boyd, and T Higgins. You know what I'm saying? So you got
Yeah.
to put your top three corners on them. uh who I forgot the tight end for the Bengals this year. But you're looking at a situation where depending on the defensive scheme, whatever the defensive plan is for that week, either Miles Hartfield is going to be playing playing nickel, or you
hmm
had Jeremy Chin down there playing the big nickel, which he'd be
Yeah.
primarily covering the tight end. So if you dropping Jeremy Chin down in the box like that, either you're gonna leave a Xavier Woods playing a lot of single high safety, or you drop Jeremy Chin down in the box and you use Xavier Woods and Miles Hartsville, and now you playing the shell, playing a shell safety position.
hmm
So like I said, they're interchangeable pieces that Carolina can use at the safety position when they do drop Jeremy Chin down in the box. You don't always have to go single high and leave Xavier Woods out there by himself. You can drop um Miles Hartfield back there into the safety position with him. So technically you playing three safeties on the field.
Gotcha. I got you.
Yeah. So, what about your specialist? Now, I know ain't too much room to be talking about them here, but what you think about the specialist?
Well, we always gotta save time for him. But Johnny Hecker, as you said, is a weapon. You know, I
Right.
think he'll be able to flip the field for us a lot this year. Hopefully we don't put him in too many positions like that, too many times, but it's gonna happen. But it'll be good, if we're down on our end of the field and you say we're on our inside our own 20 and he can flip the field and put them potentially inside their own 20,
Right.
more often than not. So,
Right.
love the pickup of Johnny Hecker. And I hope that later on in the season, we will see, a couple fake punts, but hopefully situationally, right.
You know it's coming. you
Yeah, I know it's
it's
coming.
coming. Yeah,
I
you
I I
know it's
I
gonna come.
know it's coming. I just hope and pray that it's the right call and the right time and the right situation. Because Matt Rule has a track record of calling those type of plays, and it's like, hey, that was not necessary right now. Like I get it, but you really should have saved that one for another day. Um, JJ Jansen, the elder statesman of the entire team, basically. He
Pretty
he's
much.
he yeah, he's here. It's nothing more to be said about him, but he's gonna go out there and do what it do. You know. Um Kicker, I'm mad we lost Zane Gonzalez, but the Panthers brought in five kickers for workouts. They brought in Brian Johnson, Eddie Pinero, let me see, Chase
Brian
McLaughlin,
Johnson.
Matthew Wright and Taylor Bertolit. I know I
Yeah,
messed that last name
Bertolli,
up.
something like that. Yeah.
Yeah, but so we'll see. We'll see who comes out of that group, and hopefully we can have a reliable kicker out of that bunch. But it's crazy because you know I hate to say this, but the Panthers kicker position has seemed slightly cursed, for the last little bit. Because remember we brought in Harrison Butker to compete with Graham Gano that year. And
Right.
so Graham Gano got the starting job. Harrison Butker got released. Kansas City picked him up, and it's been, fairy tales and unicorns for them ever since.
Because
And
Harrison Buckner went undrafted, and we signed him as an undrafted free agent.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. But my thing is, shoot, all our kickers have been hurt ever since. Graham Gano, except for Joey Slide. Joey Slide just couldn't kick it straight to save his neck when we really needed him to. He had
Can't
he
get
had
right.
he had his leg was strong as Hercules, but he just couldn't get right,
Can't get
and
right.
and then we had a couple backups in here. Also, a man named Santosis, I believe it was.
Ryan
He
Santosa.
yeah he was yeah. But it's
Yeah.
like when we get a really decent one in, next thing you know, they hurt. I think it was a groin injury with Gano, and now it's a groin injury with Gonzalez. Because I was like, okay, finally, our kicker position is settled. Gonzalez is good. I was prepared to draft him on every fantasy team I had. And now we're back in this situation again. But hopefully, whoever they bring in, solid kicker, and I pray that we can put that to bed and go forward.
Yeah. Again, for me as well, there's no surprises here. Johnny Hecker is Johnny Hecker. He's gonna be a force, a weapon for us. And JJ Hansen, both of them, they are true vets in every sense of the word. Losing Zane Gonzalez for the year definitely sucks, but I believe the Panthers will find a capable replacement to fill his shoes for the year. Watch this space as well in the coming days. I believe we're going to sign a kicker within the next few days, because we got to have a kicker going
Oh
into
yeah, they
week
got to.
one. Yeah, so I believe probably before the day is out, no longer than Thursday. Um, I believe we'll have a kicker in the fold. So yeah, this definitely is a space worth watching.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
Exactly.
that's a recap of our 53-man roster for the 2022 Carolina Panthers. Things will change some more in the next couple of days as players are claimed off the waiver wire and the practice squad needs are met. Until then, Panther fans, keep pounding.
Thank you for listening to Two Fans in the Stands podcast. Please subscribe to our YouTube channel and listen to us on your favorite podcast apps such as Apple and Google Podcasts, Spotify, and Amazon Music. Follow us on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. Tune in next week for another episode.